Hotep, I am the Amen Osiris, the one and only undisputed God of law. We are Deception Stoppers, America's only child support education service, the 4D Destroyers. I am not a lawyer. This is not a law firm. I do not advocate that you don't support your human offspring. I simply advocate that you made them in private, you take care of them in private. And I got a special class for you today, and it's straight directed to the point, okay? In order to get rid of child support, you have to know what child support is. You have to know who's who and why, where did it come from, and how it come about. And there's a lot of hows, okay? If you don't know the hows, if you have not torn down the 4D crime families manuscript or their playbook, then you'll never know how they're operating. So today's video is, and I'm gonna have a little fun with this, it is Bond, 4D Bond. All right, this is all about bombs, okay? You can reach, this is my email address, 4D_destroyer@yahoo.com. All right, and guess what? I am the 4D destroyer, trust me. And today you're gonna learn how to be a 4D destroyer, okay? And this is a very simple technique. Okay, it requires a little bit of research, but I'm going to share it with you. So we're going to jump into this. Under 42 U.S.C. subsection 405, the litigant is required to supply his or her social security number for the purpose of establishing and enforcing child support. That is, so the social security number is required. Okay, it is a requirement. It cannot operate without the social security number. All right, that's a crime because compelled disclosure of a social security number is a felony. Okay, all right, we're gonna keep it moving along. Section 1208, Child Support Hearing Officer Program Operation Manual. 4D litigants must be properly named and properly identified as either obligor or obligee. Okay, the obligor and obligee are positively identified by what? Social security number. Okay. What is the identity? Sameness in the law of evidence. The fact that a subject, person, or thing before the court is the same as it is represented, claimed, or charged to be. Gentlemen, right here is where most of you mess up. This is your biggest, your most complete failure that you could ever have, is presenting an identity. Okay? If you decide to go, number one, an open mail that is meant for an obligor / non-custodial payment, which is positively identified by the social security number, then walk into a Title 4D hearing, administrative hearing, and go and try to fight it, you're going to lose. All right? You're not identified as a man. Your identity is the obligor. Okay? And you're going to find out that the obligor is actually the guarantor, because these are bonds, and I'm going to show you that these are bonds floated on the market. Okay? Now, obligee, and I want you to pay close attention right here. The person in favor of whom some obligation is contracted. All right? Down here is the key word. Okay? The party to whom a bond is given. Now, I've I've heard a very funny relic on another YouTube channel, and there's people say, well, if you're going after the agency, then you're wrong. You got to go after baby mama. You can't go after baby mama, and here's why. Okay. Now I'm going to get back to this, the party to whom the bond is given, because it ain't the baby mama who gets that bond, and here's your proof. In contract law, when such an arrangement is made, the federal OCSE promises to pay the state money in exchange for which the state promises to provide 4D services to who? Baby mama. Shit, that's the price. So it's not a benefit, all right, but she's the one who's getting paid, okay? But the person who receives the benefit of the exchange of promises between the two others, which is baby mama, is called a third-party beneficiary, all right? You cannot go after her. Okay? It's not, it ain't going to happen. She has no entitlement to Title 4D services. And if you read the Blessings versus Freestone, that's what the Supreme Court said. And if you look to entitle, if a baby mama is not entitled to services, that means that she's just the pawn. Okay? It ain't about the baby mama. What it is about are these contracts. All right, Title 4D is 100% contractual in nature. Look, Blessing versus Freestone. As we explained in Pennhurst State School and Hospital versus Halderman, such an agreement is in the nature of a contract. The state promises to provide certain services, which are 4D, to private individuals. All right, so it's telling you, number one, you're a private individual. There's a difference between public and private, in exchange for which the federal government promises to give the state money. All right, it's contractual. There always has to be a contract when Title 4D funding is being pushed out. Okay, now as far as the obligor is concerned, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Or excuse me, obligee, the person in favor of whom some obligation is contracted. So this obligation is contracted. We're gonna see the word obligation again. All right. And here's the contract: 42 USC subsection 603, 5C little I 3. In the case of a non-custodial parent who becomes enrolled in the project, or after the date of the enactment of this clause, the non-custodial parent is in compliance with the terms of an oral or written personal responsibility contract entered into among the non-custodial parent and the entity. Who's the entity? The The single and separate 42 USC 654-3 unit. Okay? Which was developed taking into account of the employment and the child support status of the non-custodial parent after the non-custodial parent was enrolled in the project. All right, so you got a couple of questions here. Number one, when did you succeed to the status of the non-custodial parent? Okay, that has to be done contractually. Don't forget, look, where's it at? Litigants must be properly named and properly identified as either obligor or obligee. That means you succeeded. That means that succeed, de-evolution of title, man, to property under the law of distribution. Here it is right here. Okay? So that needs to be proven. When did I succeed to the status of non-custodial parent? Mm-hmm. And again, gentlemen, it ain't non-custodial parent, it's non-custodial parent. Let me enunciate on that. Right? That's what it is. You're paying rent. Right? And you're paying rent because these children are positively identified by the Social Security number. Okay. Number two, when did you become enrolled in the project? You enroll in college, don't you? That's a voluntary thing. So when did you voluntarily enroll in the project? Now, here's some more. All right, so we got the non-custodial parent. So wait a minute, okay. What are the terms of an oral, or when did I go into the terms and agree to be in compliance with the terms of an oral or written personal responsibility contract? And when did I enter this contract with the Child Support Enforcement Agency operating in this state? When? When did that happen? I need to see some documentation. All right. Now, under the terms, these are the terms. All right. A commitment. These are the terms of this personal responsibility contract. All right. And again, gentlemen, don't take my word for it. Look it up. All right. These are the terms. A commitment by the non-custodial parent to cooperate in the payment of child support. All right. A commitment by the non-custodial parent to participate in employment or related activities that will enable the non-custodial parent to make regular child support payments. Let's see, wait a minute. A commitment by the non-custodial parent to participate in such services that are designed to assist the non-custodial parent obtain and retain employment and increase earnings. Bam. Okay. Why is this? Why is this? Because we're going to go back up here to the obligee. the party to whom a bond is given. All right? The obligee is the party to whom the bond is given. They did not give baby mama a bond. What happened was when the contractors, the 4D contractors, they have to meet a quota, see? They have to meet a quota, and they have to meet a quota because they have to keep up the payment on these bonds. Bonds are notes of debt, okay? And they're borrowing money off the projected rates of which they're going to suck you dry for the next 18 years, and then they float bonds on it. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, so we're going to talk about these bonds now, and we're going to talk. So where's the commitment? When did I become a non-custodial? When did I succeed to non-custodial pay rent? When did I agree to cooperate in the payment of child support? You're not paying for child support, gentlemen. You're paying off loans. All right? You're paying off loans, and here's where your proof is. All right? The obligor, definition of obligor, the person who has engaged to perform some obligation. And obligation, law or duty binding a party to perform their agreement. This is all contractual. Look, agreement, contract, perform, undertaking in a contract, undertake, contract. All right, look, a law, Title 4D is not law. That's a legislative rule of society. Or a duty. A duty only falls upon a person, which is usually, the duty falls upon the non-custodial parent, pay rent. All right? So once you succeed to that, you got a duty to perform, an undertaking to perform. That's called contract. Duty, commonly reserved as the designations of those obligations of performance, care, and observation which rest upon a person in an official capacity. What is the official capacity of the person who must pay child support? It is the obligor, the person who has engaged to perform. Okay? Now, when this obligor is created, they also created what's called a guarantor, a person who guarantees to pay borrower's debt. You didn't borrow any money. Who borrowed the money? The federal government did. They're doing it all the time. And guess where they're taking that money from? Right out of that account. Okay? The Social Security Administration account. All right? They're fronting loans and bonds on that debt. In the event the borrower defaults on a loan obligation. So in other words, a cosigner. All right, let's say your daughter, your son, your offspring, whatever, is getting a car, and you cosign, and the daughter or son, or maybe family member, all right, doesn't pay the loan. Guess who they're coming after for that loan? You. That's the guarantor. A guarantor acts as a cosigner because they pledge their own assets or service in case the original debtor cannot perform their obligation. Who is the original debtor? The original debtor is the Social Security. The Social Security Administration. That's the original debtor. Why? Because that debt is what? It's liened against their property. So by them not paying back the loans that they took out, all right, and usually it's not just the Social Security Administration. It's usually the state actually takes out the loans, and this is how they pay back their loans. They are the original debtor. I do apologize. I just made a mistake. All right, then it goes to the federal level because the Fed is their boss. So it really falls back on the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, okay, which is ran by Commissioner Scott Lien, whatever his name is. All right, so in case the original debtor cannot perform their obligations, okay, they're floating loans and creating debt in the name of the Social Security card name and account number, gentlemen. Why do you think there's a CUSIP number on the back of that card? Look it up. Find out how much money's in there. All right. A guarantor is also someone that certifies the true likeness of an individual applying for a product or service. Well, hold on. When did you apply for a service? Show me the application that I applied for a service. I'm not, show me when did I guarantee to pay the state's debt? Up here. It has to come from up here. All right, because look, the obligee is the person in favor of some obligation is contracted. Title 4D is under contract law. In order for a 4D case to be held against, number one, you got to succeed to the status of non-custodial parent and be in compliance with the oral or written terms of a personal responsibility contract. All right, that personal responsibility contract, guess what, is to pay the bond. And we're going to get into that. Okay. Now, here it is right here. The federal government underwrites roughly 2/3 of the cost of the state's child support efforts. Blessings versus Freestone. All right, the 2/3 is the 66%. All right, federal reimbursement. That doesn't include the incentives and all that other shit that they get. All right, so where's that? Underwrites is defined to ensure the sale of corporate bonds or similar securities to the public by agreeing to buy those which are not sold. Okay, what is a bond? I think I got it over here. Look, bond, a certificate or evidence of debt. Where did that debt come from? Is what you want to be asking. All right, so if the federal government is underwriting these corporate bonds, all right, and a bond is a debt, then what is it? All right, it turned into a lien, a claim or charge on property for payment of some debt, obligation, or duty. Where is the debt liened against? The Social Security number, with which is the property of the Social Security Administration. Okay, flip the debt. Okay, now look, here it is again. 42 U.S.C. 666 requires that the non-custodial parent's Social Security number be furnished to the agency. Well, if the Social Security number is the property of the Social Security Administration, then doesn't that make the Social Security Administration the non-custodial parent? It can't be you, because it says on the back, this card is the property of the Social Security Administration. It must be returned upon our request. It ain't your property. It's their property. So whatever arrears, penalties, and or interest and fees is attached to that lien, guess what? They're responsible to pay that lien, not you. They're not going to be able to prove that. How can they prove? Look, prove that I'm the guarantor for this, all right, for this loan or this debt. Who's the borrower? Again, the state, the child support agency in the state, one of them. Okay, it doesn't matter. You ain't the borrower. Did you borrow any money? No. So it doesn't matter who the borrower is. What matters is it ain't you. See? All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so I got some obligation. Look, again, law or duty binding a party to perform. There has to be a contract. Undertaking, perform. Let's look at this. The debt, a sum of money due by certain express agreement, as by what? Bond, for determinate sum, a bill, or note. This child support is a bond, gentlemen. All right, and the reason they bonded, let me see if I can find it. I was doing a little write-up. All right, let's see here. I was doing some. You know what? I'll go one better. Let me pull it out of. Here we go. All right, let me show you how these bonds are floated. Okay, I'm gonna show you how these bonds are floated, and what I'm gonna do is this 66. I'm gonna go to page 22. All right, now this is for the unwed section. There's a total different section when it comes to divorce. All right, but this is for people who weren't married. All right, the divorce statistics are totally different. I'll do that in another video, but it does not pertain. All right, however, there's certain parts of this that do pertain to the divorce, and if you pay attention, you'll see it. All right, the purpose of an administrative process. Okay, remember, it's not judicial; it's administrative, and it's done by a judge surrogate. is to increase effectiveness and meet specific time frames, specified processing times in child support cases and paternity actions. Now, did you hear that? Federal regulations specify that 90% of the cases must be processed within 3 months, 98% within 6 months, and 100% within 12 months. Okay? Now, federal regulations contain additional requirements, all right, related to the expedited process. Proceedings conducted pursuant to either the expedited judicial or expedited administrative process must be presided over by an individual who is not a judge of the court. Okay? So it can't be a judge. A judge cannot sit in child support. Now, another catcher is, here it is, orders established by expedited process must have the same force and effect under state law as orders established by a full judicial process. How can that be if the process must be presided by an individual who is not a judge of the court? That is impossible. But here's where the bribe comes in. Although either process requires that a judge first ratify the order. Okay? So this is part of the case processing. Okay? Let's look at it. Let's go back to page 66. Okay. Here you go. Under the performance-based audit procedures, a graduate penalty equal to 1% to 5% of the federal TANF block grant to the state is assessed again if 1. Based on the data submitted by the state for review, the state program fails to achieve what? Paternity establishment or other performance standards set by the HHS secretary. That's Alex Azar. Okay, so if they don't establish a certain amount of paternities, if they don't, here it is right here. Look, these measures are paternity establishment, specifically mentioned in federal law, child support order establishment, and 3, collections. Okay, these are the 3 quotas that they must meet. And they must meet these quotas because why? These are loans that they took out. You're paying back their loans. Okay? They're all bonds. Okay? It is a debt. So, the reason they have to establish paternity, without paternity establishment, gentlemen, if you really look at it, where's that? Oh, I passed it. Paternity establishment is nothing but a man who actually signed and succeeded and consented to be the guarantor of a loan. And if you look at the paternity establishment, the paternity affidavit, it says that you agreed to be financially responsible. You're paying off someone else's loan, gentlemen. It ain't got nothing to do with baby mama. You've been duped. You have been duped. All right? You can forget about obligor later for that. It ain't the obligor, you're the guarantor. All right, that's what you are. That's all it is. All right, you guaranteed to pay the borrower's debt. Who's the all right? First, once you figure out who the borrower is, well, when did I guarantee to pay their debt? That's what you're doing. It ain't got nothing to do with baby mama. All right, at best, if you want to go after baby mama for, let's see, unjust enrichment, unauthorized, if she gave the social, that's, but they authorized that in their law. They asked her for your social security number. So it's going to be hard to penetrate that one. Unjust enrichment, maybe. All right, it is what it is. But baby mama ain't your problem. See. The borrower is your problem. You didn't borrow any money, so you're not the borrower. The borrower is your problem. Okay? So the paternity establishment, guess what? Bond floated. Debt created. Okay? Loan paid back. That's you, daddy, or mommy, whoever you are. All right? So if you stop doing what you're doing, you stop getting what you're getting, you can terminate child support with ease, as long as you know, hey, listen, well, Tell you what, prove this. Prove it. Whose social security number is that lien against? All right. Every time they establish paternity, and this is why it's their quotas. Okay. All right. Paternity establishment and the order establishment. These are three different bonds, and the collection, that's a third different bond right here, gentlemen. Tell you what, go to Treasury Direct, I believe it is, and go to EE bonds, put in the year that the child support case was established, and put either the first 8 or the last 8 of that 4D identified case in there, and a bond, you're going to see a bond number, it's an EE bond, it's going to pop up with a 20-year expiration date. I do it all the time. Okay? So every time you succeed to the status of obligor, you accept that mail, which puts you in federal jurisdiction. You succeed to the status by accepting the mail. You succeed to that status by walking into a child support, a 4D administrative hearing. Okay? In that 4D administrative hearing, only thing there, if look, that's collections. Okay? We got bonds to pay off. Okay? We're not trying to hear what you have to say. All right, we floated bonds. We are the borrower of that debt, and you're going to pay it back. Well, when did I become the guarantor? See, gentlemen, you can walk into a child support 4D hearing and try to say this. They're going to look at you like you're crazy because they don't know. See, you gotta go in on them. See, you got to haul their asses into court. You got to learn how to default these fuckers. You got to learn how to speak with Alex Azar and Scott Leakin. Okay, you need to learn how to send them notarized documents and their failure to respond. All right, and they won't be able to respond because they know that you're right. It's going to hurt them. And what you want is your case dismissed. I apologize. You want that case removed from your life. Whether or not they dismiss it or not is of your concern. All right, what you're going to stop doing, what you have to stop doing, what you need to stop doing is being the guarantor for that loan, for that borrower's debt. All right? Now, this is about as all in as you can get. See, don't nobody teach this on YouTube. That's why I am the God of law. Okay? We stay within the realm. I mean, listen, I can almost cite any bylaw out there, but when it comes to child support, I can't touch this. This is all child support is. All right? It's about the obligee and the guarantor. When did you contract? When did you contract? Okay. How does this contract? The contract don't favor baby mama. All right. She's not the obligee. The contract benefits what? It's in favor of the borrower. All right. It's in favor of the borrower. Now, if she got 4D, or excuse me, she got them food stamps, all right, she was a borrower technically. All right, but here's the catch. They're the actual borrowers. The United States, gentlemen, if you don't know it, they're broke. They've been bankrupt for years. And number two, how can you pay a debt if there's no gold or silver in this country? All right. So every time there's a 4D order, every time there's a paternity establishment, that creates a lien, gentlemen. Okay. It's a claim or charge on property for payment of some debt. All right. That's what Title 4D is. It is a big giant lien. So the arrears is a lien. The current payments, you're paying off a lien. You're paying a borrower's debt. Okay? And the funny part is a claim or charge on property for payment of some debt. Well, whose property? Social Security Administration's property. Not yours. Okay, like I told you, property owner can't require the renter to pay his property taxes. All right, and that's exactly what they've done to you here. They floated bonds, okay? A bond, a certificate of or evidence of a debt. Where that debt come from? What is debt? A sum of money due by certain express agreement. Well, who made that agreement? And it's done by bond. for determinate sum or bill or note. Federal Reserve notes. Notice I got that in quotations. Okay. The guarantor, all right, that's the designated. That's the designated of performance. What? That's the official capacity. All right. When they say you have a duty to pay child support, so hold on. You're saying that I'm in the official capacity of the guarantor? All right. You need to prove this. Because I'm not. I never said I was going to be a guarantor for the borrower's debt. Who's the borrower? It ain't me. Somebody borrowed something, and now you're trying to get me to be the guarantor for it? Nah, I don't think so. I'm the Ahmed Osiris. I'm the God of law. We teach child support here, Title 4D. We are the 4D destroyers, gentlemen. If you need help, bang my email. All right. I will create a weapon of mass destruction for you that cannot be denied. I will show you how to default the Social Security Administration into paying back their own loan, and I'll show you how to default the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement and the single and separate, their single and separate unit operating in your state. I will show you how to default them to start billing the Social Security Administration, because they, believe it or not, the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, they're actually the lien holders, gentlemen. They are the lien holders. When those orders are pushed out, that creates a lien. When that lien is created, all right, they're holding the lien. The Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement that's operating in the state, they created the lien, they're holding the lien. They're the lien holder. Who's the lienee? Where's it at? Let me see something. I thought I had it on here. Hold on, it might be up here. Yep, it's up here. Hold on. All right, look. A 4D lien is a form of security interest granted over an item of property. All right, so what is the item of property that the lien is granted over? The Social Security number. To secure the payment of a debt. Whose debt? Or performance. Well, where's the contract? Of some obligation. Well, where's the contract? The owner of the property who grants the lien is referred to as the lienee. The person who has the benefit of the lien is referred to as the lien holder. Who does Title 4D benefit? It benefits the lien holder, which is the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement. They're the actual lien holders. So a notice to the lien holder is very crucial to them. Okay? That lien is not liened against your property. They created a debt. Okay? And what they're doing is they're getting you to pay back their shit. All right? You're the guarantor. I don't care. Look, taxpayer, guarantor, employee, guarantor. All right. How you know you're guarantor? Because they take taxes out of your check, don't they? You're not paying taxes. You're paying the borrower's debt. This is what you're paying. Okay. You're not paying federal taxes. You're paying borrower's debt. Federal government's been bankrupt. All right. So if you need help, you stop by and check out the God of Law. All right. And if you want to learn how child support works, gentlemen, it's cut and dry. Okay. It cannot be denied. This is their information. Okay. It shouldn't be obligor or obligee. It should be guarantor and obligee. Okay. Every time you walk in there, that's your identity. That's why, for those of you who want there and try talking no shit, they'll tell you, we're not here for that. How much you got, motherfucker? We ain't trying to hear that. No. Wait. You take that up someplace else. Here, all right, we're a collection agency. We're collecting on that debt. We're collecting on the borrower's debt that you became guarantor for. See, where's that money? We got to pay off them bonds. Them bonds are floated on the market. All right, they're just sucking people dry. This is why I don't mess with government. All right, I leave them people alone. I don't want nothing to do with them. Okay, start demanding. But if you need help, gentlemen, you can come here. I will teach you how to destroy Title 4D crime family with ease, and there's nothing that they can do about it. You want out? You come see me. We'll make arrangements. All right, and we'll create a weapon that'll never jam. It'll never cook off. It'll always be accurate, and it'll put out 5,000 words per second. Or excuse me, 5,000 words per minute. It's a verbal Gatling gun, and we has it. We're the only one that has it. All right. But more importantly, do your research. Okay. No one is teaching how Title 4D works. Everybody's just talking about this and that, which is fine. All right. But in order, again, gentlemen, if you have not infiltrated the Title 4D Crown Families playbook, you're grasping at straws. It's all right here. Every last bit of it. I can tell you every word that's in this book. I can tell you what's on every page. I can tell you what every section is. All right. And this is the first version. They revised it, but I have the original. Not only do I have it on, when we saved it on hard disk, we also have the actual physical copy of it. Okay, and it reads exactly the same. All right. If you're emailing me, then email me and say, Osiris, I'd like to schedule a phone consultation. Do not email me questions. All right, because I get a lot of emails, gentlemen. All right, and I'm going to tell you that email. Let us set up a phone consultation for you. So if you're going to send me an email, that means you want to do an appointment, and we will discuss that at that time. It is hard for me. I got 600 emails a day. I can't sit and read all these messages. It's impossible. That'll take up a third of my day. All right, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. I know you got issues, but that's what these videos are here for. All right, if you haven't learned off my videos, then something's wrong with you. Should have been dealt with child support. All right, but no problem. You need help, we will assist you. I'm the Ahmed Osiris. Okay, I strongly suggest that you start learning how to flip the lien back to child support and stop being guarantor for their debt. All right, and then you know what? Again, the borrower's debt. You are not the borrower. I cannot reiterate that enough. You are not the borrower. All right, this deserves some investigation, gentlemen, and that's what I've done here. See, who's the borrower? You ever look at the United States debt clock? Check it out sometime. Who's the borrower? All right, so minimum, this paragraph right here, look, all you got to do is demand, look, I'll tell you what, prove that I'm the guarantor of the borrower's debt. Prove that I'm the borrower, let alone the guarantor. Prove that I'm a borrower. I didn't borrow. What money did I borrow? So how's that debt? How am I required to pay that debt? All right, all too easy. And I'm going to leave you with this funny joke. I was watching, I'm an avid Star Wars fan. Not the newer stuff, but the originals, Empire Strike Back, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope. And I remember the part where Darth Vader had said, Luke, I'm your father. But wouldn't it be funny if he came out and says, Luke, I am your mama. That would have been some crazy shit. Anyway, all right, folks, let's get with the program here. All right, let's get you set up. Let's get you fighting, and more importantly, let's get you free. It's not hard to do, gentlemen. It's not hard to do. Again, if you're not tearing down their playbook, if you're not tearing down their words, okay, these are all definitions here. Black's Law's Dictionary. Okay? This comes from, this is their bylaw. They're not statutes. These are legislative rules of society. But it says it right here. All right? Ask for the personal responsibility contract. But more importantly, well, when did I make a commitment? Nah. When did I succeed to a non-custodial pay rent? All right. And now, look, when did look, I'm a subject, person, or thing as the same as the court is represented? I don't think so. All right. That's why, look, when a cop says, you got ID, what's he asking you? Right, he's, all right, what do I need an identity for? I'm the Ahmed Osiris. I'm identified as a man. You have a state ID? No, I do not. Why not? Are they free? No. Oh, well, then there's no need for me. I don't want one. I'm in control of what I buy. All right, if I want to buy your state ID, then I buy one. If I don't want to buy it, then you can't compel me to buy it, and there's nothing you can do for me for not buying it. That would be called extortion, wouldn't it? The same with a driver's license. The law requires you have a driver's license. Well, are they free? No. So how do you get one? Well, you got to pay for one. No, that's extortion. That's racketeering. You can't force me to pay for a product. Just like nobody can force you to be the guarantor for a borrower's loan. Okay? This is your biggest issue right here. Find out who that borrower is, right? Watch the feathers that you ruffle. Okay? Watch the feathers that you ruffle. Here, gentlemen, is where you come to learn. You come to learn here. This is what we do. Any place else, all right, I'm not sure what you're looking for, but you will not find this education. All right? And this is a free education here, gentlemen. I'm not charging you for this. You want to talk to me, I'm going to charge you. But this right here, this is for you. Okay? Look at all these lethal weapons here, man. These are bullets. Every word is a bullet. It's a projectile coming out of the barrel of your verbal rifle. This is lethal right here. And guess what? If you can get every one of these projectiles downrange on target, the more damage you'll do. See? All right, but you're not going to be able to do that in the child support hearing. Don't waste your time. You're going to have to take them. All right, you're going to have to haul their ass into court. All right, now you got to see, this is what you call newly discovered evidence. All right, newly discovered evidence is what frees people out of these federal prison systems and state prison systems after like 20, 30 years. It's the same exact thing. All you're doing is turning around using their words against them. They can't come back and tell you that you're wrong. All right. Well, sir, we don't know what you're talking about. Oh, so, okay, there is no so then you don't have a personal responsibility contract. Okay, good. Case closed. But you want to know who the borrower is. Okay, that's your main thing. This first sentence right here. All right, the borrower has defaulted. Who is the borrower? That debt. And how can somebody think about it? How can somebody impose a debt on you out of the blue, out of nowhere, and you didn't borrow any money? All right, that's really what they're doing to you. All right, you have your assignment, gentlemen. All right, and again, it's all about the bonds, 4D bonds. That's all it is. You're paying off the borrower's debt. You guaranteed to pay it, and you need to stop. Okay, it's a 4D lien. Flip that lien back to the property owner, just like you would tell the tax man if he knocked on your door and you were renting the property. Go talk to the owner. That's not your business. That's between them, the Social Security Administration, and the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement. HOTEP.